What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Drice Bros Sports channel. Ethan here once again with another ESPN mock draft. We are going to be drafting in a 10-team league in this one. First 10-team league on the channel, pick 4. Shout out to, I believe your name is COC Vikings or Viking in the YouTube comments, or Mr. Clash of Clans or something like that. Apologize if I get your username wrong, but shout out to you for commenting and requesting this video. Guys, if you find this video entertaining or helpful at all, please like and subscribe to the channel. We'll continue to get videos out. Also comment about anything we talk about in this channel, anything about fantasy football or the football season, or just if you want me to continue to draft from your home league spot, let me know what you got going on in your home league, and we'll try to get that out. Dominic, I have your video on deck. You'll be within the next few days if you are still watching. Also, guys, shout out to you all that just continue to watch the channel. I appreciate you taking time to view. So here we go. This actually started out perfectly, in my opinion, for a 10-team league. It is PPR still. Keep that in mind. But unless like Tyreek or CD fall to you at 4, I'm gonna just go with the best running back, and in my opinion, that's Breece Hall. I've considered possibly taking Breece Hall at even like as early as like the 2 overall, even in a PPR league, just to try to build my team out with a running back first. I'm probably not going to end up doing it myself when it comes down to it, but just a thought. I really do like Breece Hall this year. If you can get him in your first round, do that. I was going to say also in 10-team leagues, I do prioritize like the onesie positions more and running backs even a little bit more. So I just think there's so much wide receiver depth in a 10-team league. You can get to like the 8th, 9th round and still have like crazy wide receivers available for you. So keep that in mind if you're drafting a 10-team league. Also, don't be afraid to draft those onesie positions with the QBs and the tight ends. So just some things to keep in mind when you're drafting if you're in a 10-team league. If you're in an 8-team league, it's even more intense. Like, get those onesie positions, prioritize some running backs. There's going to be so many opportunities for you to get like crazy good players later in the draft that it just makes it easier, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. As we're approaching our next pick, we'll keep an eye on the running backs. And if someone isn't there that we don't like, if we don't find anyone there that we think is a great value or that we love, we'll pick probably the best wide receiver available. We'll see what happens, though. I haven't done a ton of 10-team league mock drafts. I'm assuming I'm going to like the way my team looks, but we'll see. One other thing, guys, I do realize on YouTube that my thumbnails aren't like loading as you're like scrolling through. They load if you click on the channel, I believe, but it doesn't look good. Like, I put all this work into my thumbnails and they don't like show up the way I want them to. I just wanted to say shout out to you guys that keep finding the videos and watching, even though the thumbnail's not really working. I know it's not like as attractive when the thumbnail's not there, but I appreciate you guys still finding and viewing the channel. Now that I know that it's a thing, I will, slowly work towards fixing that. Although I don't necessarily. Let me interrupt myself and pick here. So there's so many good receivers still, and I do like Derrick Henry. If you don't like Derrick Henry, then don't pick him. I'm a Derrick Henry fan this year, even in full PPR. I think he's the last of a tier of running backs there that you can get. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Mixon, Cook at this spot. I'd pick Mixon, Cook, Achane, White more of like late third-round picks, including White and Kamara. A guy that I do like there is Josh Jacobs, but I still would prioritize Derrick Henry over him. So now we have our 2 starting running backs, though, so we can kind of go with filling out the rest of our roster down. There's going to be some sick wide receivers to choose from, or we could go quarterback or tight end soon. But yeah, to finish my point is, now that I do know that my thumbnails aren't working the way I want them to, I will eventually slowly work towards figuring that out. I think it's just because I do my videos so far on my phone and it's vertical. However, I'm not very tech savvy, so getting all that stuff figured out over a computer and editing and recording on a computer is going to be a big process and transition for me. So stick with me. We'll hopefully eventually figure it out, but for the time being and probably the rest of this mock draft season at least, we'll stick to these kinds of videos. So shout out to you guys again for supporting and continuing to watch. All right, Yeah, guys. I mean, we're in the third round here, and we still have like Drake London, who's a guy that I'm perfectly okay taking in the second round. So we're gonna go Drake London here. I do have Drake London over my Pittman and Collins and Mike Evans. So that feels just fine getting our wide receiver one with Drake London there. We may, I mean, we're gonna look at the wide receivers at our next pick too. We'll consider like first of all, if somehow like Nico Collins, Mike Evans, or DK are still there, I'm gonna have a very hard time not choosing them. I'd even consider like a Devontae Smith or a Waddle. Just even then, I mean, there's still Cooper Kupp that'll be there. Debo Samuel's gonna be there, so we may look to get our quarterback. Now, like I said, in 10-team leagues, those one-off positions are a little bit more valuable, the tight ends and the quarterbacks. Now, with that being said, like you want the advantage there. With that being said, because it's a 10-team league, I do feel like there's truly a lot of quarterbacks this year that I like. So, like, you could push it off and just get, like, that last quarterback you like. Or you could, same with the tight ends. There's more tight ends that I like this year, maybe not 10. But you could still get away with pushing off quarterback and tight end if you wanted to build your team that way, and I'd still like it. I guess what I'm trying to just say is just look at the values. And if you got in target and, look at guys that you like to target in certain spots, and if they're there, and then go for it. If they get picked, then don't be afraid to like change up your draft strategy. Just be flexible. So that's what we're going to try to do in this draft as we see a lot of those receivers that I really like going. Don't feel that bad about it, though, because we were able to snag Drake London as our wide receiver one. I'm still looking at these quarterbacks, and no one in between my next pick has a quarterback, so there's a good chance some of them go. However, if we're looking at all of these quarterbacks still being there, I'm probably going to continue to wait and just go with another receiver like a Devontae Smith or a Waddle. It would be pretty cool though if I could get like a Devontae Smith, Waddle, and Kupp, kind of to go in my flex. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hold off on quarterback for now. I really like Devontae Smith this year because it sounds like the Eagles' offense is gonna, with Kellen Moore, they're gonna have some more like motion, play action. We'll take them really quick. They're gonna be moving around a lot more, possibly like more pass heavy, and also you're hearing a lot of good things out of training camp about Devontae Smith, and that like looks like he's on a mission this year, and like everyone loves A.J. Brown. He's going to be the one still, but I had Devontae Smith in some leagues last year, and he was great for me. If you can get him as your wide receiver too, you feel great about that. So that's what we do here. Ultimately, still in PPR, so receivers are very helpful. Man, Josh Jacobs was still there at the end of round 4 in a 10-team league. That seems like a steal. If we didn't go running back, we would have considered him. Or we probably would have picked him there instead of Devontae Smith. I am looking at the board, though, when it comes to wide receivers in the second and third rounds. I don't really regret taking Derrick Henry because I'm not a huge fan of Devontae Adams, Chris Olave. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. However, I mean, he's a rookie receiver. It's just like a little bit of a risk. And then Puka falls around 3. I mean, if we start hearing good news about Puka, as we approach the start of the season, like you just take Puka. So Ayuk's still there. Don't love Ayuk this year. You can take Neighbors if you want. I think I'm going to finally go quarterback. Now take Josh Allen if you love him. Take Mahomes if you love him. Since I have Devontae Smith, guys, I'm going to go Jalen Hurts in this mock. I personally love Mahomes this year, and I really like Lamar Jackson. So like if you really want one of those guys, then take him there. And you don't have to feel bad about it at all. But since we had the stack set up, I really wanted to stack Devontae Smith with Jalen Hurts. I like trying to prioritize stacks. Sorry if you can hear this cat through the audio. She's begging to go outside. But I really like the way this team's looking. We're going to probably look for tight end at our next pick or to fill out our flex spot. Yeah, I'm glad we got our quarterback there because look at the run of tight end or quarterbacks that we have after I picked Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think we made the right pick there. And I'm really liking that stack. So like I keep saying, I like to prioritize, try to get a stack in all my leagues. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But stacks give you a lot of upside, and I like the way it makes my teams look. And it's really fun to watch games on Sundays too when you have a stack, and all of a sudden your quarterback throws a touchdown to your stacked receiver, and you're getting like a ton of points, and it's just a cool and good feeling. So I like to prioritize stacks just a little bit if I can. I'm not going to throw my draft just to get a stack, but I try to prioritize them if the board falls to me. I was going to say, too, like if you don't like Jalen Hurts, maybe you like Patrick Mahomes, which I really do like Patrick Mahomes. You could have taken Patrick Mahomes there and then try to like get Rashee Rice later. I find myself doing that a lot. Since I already committed to Devontae Smith, though, I still really like the Jalen Hurts stack. Plus, Jalen Hurts has some like guaranteed rushing upside as a quarterback, so there's a good argument for him to be better than Mahomes in fantasy, anyways. So I like that start. So we're slowly approaching our next pick. A lot of tight ends are going. I think we're gonna look at tight end. I don't know if there's any value now. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to reach for tight end here because I think we can get one at our next pick. So, very interesting. I think we're just going to kind of continue to nail down our wide receiver depth. There are some good running backs still there, like a David Montgomery. I do not mind if you go to Zamir White or David Montgomery here. There's just a lot of receiving options that are here that I do like. So if you can get Malik Neighbors in the 6th round or at the end of the 6th round effectively, go ahead and do it. I'll do it here. I know he's hurt. It sounds like he has a very minor ankle sprain. Now you can look at it both two ways, which I continue to look at it two ways. You could look at it as, oh, it's a minor ankle sprain. He's just going to be completely fine. When the season comes around, he's still going to just continue to get all those targets. He's going to be a boss in fantasy. Sure, I could see that. Or you could look at it as he has a minor ankle sprain already. He is going to be overused when the season starts, and there's no way he's going to last the entire season as a rookie wide receiver without getting hurt. Now, I don't like to go into my drafts and draft guys based off of if they're going to get hurt during the season, so I'm going to try to stay away from doing that. However, I totally understand the concerns, and it's something that goes through my mind, absolutely. So, regardless, though, Malik Neighbors at the end of the 6th round in a 10-team league, good value there. Take him as what is that? That's our flex receiver. That feels just fine. All right, this worked out perfectly. We're going to go Kittle to lock up our tight end spot, fill out our team there, and Kittle was the last of like a tight end tier for me. I would have been happy at that pick with Kittle, Ingram, or Pitts. So we get Kittle, the last one remaining for us. T3 decides to... Oh, they already had their tight end, so we weren't even worried there. We played that perfectly without even knowing it. We waited on a tight end because we were okay with any of those guys. We grabbed Malik Neighbors as our flex, and it worked out perfectly. So we're going to continue to go flex or essentially flex players, running backs, and wide receiver depths here. So someone I'm about to pick up, let's look at running backs really quick again. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this kind of range of running backs. I mean, I like Warren and Najee, but I don't like them because they're split with each other. Same with Spears and Pollard. Like, I like both of those guys, but since they're pretty much going to have 50-50 splits, I don't want them. Like, I'm not very high on them. If you get lucky and you win the coin flip and you pick the guy that ends up lasting the entire season without getting hurt, then you won. But I just don't like to pick coin flips when you have guys like Jaden Reed, Kirk, and Rice still on the board, right? So I'm gonna go a guy I'm really growing on. I don't think I've ever not been relatively high on him this offseason is Jaden Reed, but I like the fact that he's kind of like the target, maybe the more of the target hog in that Packers offense. I wouldn't have blamed you if you went Rashee Rice or Kirk, though. I mean, I'm really starting to like Rashee Rice. We heard today that Hollywood's out for 4 to 6 weeks from, we're in the pretty much middle of August. He's going to probably miss the first 2 to 4 weeks of the season. He'll probably miss the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. But, so it doesn't necessarily change a ton. Oh, you know what? Rashee Rice is still there. So, I mean, I think, oh my goodness, I just got auto picked. I'm so sorry. Let's see who we got exiting the draft in shambles. I got so caught up in Hollywood Brown. Okay, we got Javonte Williams. Not the person we probably would have gotten, but I don't feel bad about Javonte Williams anyways. I was going to say I absolutely wouldn't mind going Rashee Rice, but I personally was also going to take a peek at the wide running back depth. So, I mean, like Zach Moss, Tony Pollard. I think that in a 10-team league, you just can get away with that, and you have so many players. So without having to like restart the video and do it all over again, let me just explain this real quick. I messed up and I accidentally let myself get auto picked there. I'm sorry. I'm sure as you guys were watching the clock rundown, you were like screaming to pick. In that case there, I probably wouldn't have picked Javonte Williams, and I would have picked Raheem Mostert, who got picked, or Zach Moss. Now, if you didn't want to go running back there, I would have been totally fine with Rashee Rice. In my main home league, if my team is built out like this and I have two running backs who I really like, who I picked the first 2 rounds, and I'm just trying to build out the rest of my team, I probably would have felt comfortable just going Rashee Rice for that upside. But as you guys saw, I messed up and that did not happen. Okay, so yeah, now we're chilling. We're going to stay away from that range of receivers, and we're going to pick another bench running back. Since we got auto-picked Javonte, I'm okay kind of passing on some running backs now. I mean, I do like Trey Benson, Zach Charbonnet. This is kind of the tier where I start to prioritize running backs more. But let's go back over here to receiver. So instead of getting Rashee Rice, we waited another full round and got Xavier Worthy. Kind of makes up for it. Like I said, that wasn't worth restarting the video over. I mean, although I messed up and I probably would have picked Raheem Mostert over Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams is a guy that I'm not like completely down on. If I'm making a 0 RB build or like a hero RB build, Javonte Williams is a guy that I wouldn't hate having as my RB2 or a super late 0 RB guy. So, although like I'm a pessimistic Broncos fan, so I'm not very like high on any Broncos players this year. I don't think the offense is going to be great. If the offense is just like average and Javonte Williams is getting 50-60% of the snap share, which I'm assuming he's going to get like 60%, and then Julio McLaughlin and some of these other guys will filter in after that, I think he's going to be fine. I'm just not certain, even as a Broncos fan who like keeps up with the team and stuff. I just really don't trust anything with the Broncos offense. So yeah, I hope I cleared that up though, guys. Like, so you're not super confused. And I like pick Raheem Mostert if you want the running back instead of Javonte Williams. If not, then just get Rashee Rice. Other than that, this is kind of how I would build the team anyways. I like Blake Corum. We'll talk about him more in a second. And then we got Xavier Worthy instead of Rashee Rice. So, all right, we're going to go back to running back just because I think the value is better. Let me take one more peek at the receivers. Curtis Samuel is a guy that like you could take. I'm going to go back to running back. Yeah, before we get auto-picked again, Tyler Algier is a guy I'm liking. Maybe would have gone Rico Dowdle over him. We got 2 more picks. We'll probably go 1 more running back, 1 more receiver. We are a little light on receivers, but I think that Jaden Reed pick helps us a lot. Let's go back over here. These 10-team leagues are throwing me off a little bit because the draft board just goes quicker. Yeah, let's go Curtis Samuel here. Get a part of that Bills receiving core. Maybe we hit the guy that goes off. And then our next pick will be Rico Dowdle, as long as he doesn't get picked. But yeah, let's talk about Blake Corum real quick. If I'm not getting Kyren Williams in the beginning of our drafts, Blake Corum's a guy I'm perfectly okay targeting. The thing that scares me with Blake Corum is like obviously we hear all these good things about Blake Corum, but we've never seen anything, you know, and so that's what worries me a little bit about getting him. Essentially he's just like a handcuff to Kyren Williams if Kyren Williams gets hurt, which is fine in the 10th round. If anything happens to Kyren Williams, Blake Corum's gonna be a league winner. But I don't know. It's just something that I don't prioritize like I know some people do. So like with Blake Corum, but I'm okay taking him late as well. Like it's not a bad pick. Blake Corum has a ceiling if Kyron Williams gets hurt, no doubt. Another thing that's kind of good news for Blake Corum people is Kyron Williams and several starters sat out in the first preseason game. Blake Corum also sat out. And it seems like there's no injuries involved. So Blake Corum, obviously him not playing at all in the first preseason game, probably shows us, we kind of have to infer and assume, but probably shows us that he is very valued. So maybe scares me slightly if you're a Kyron Williams guy like I am. Scares me very slightly that Blake Corum is sitting in the first preseason game and they don't even feel the need to play him as a rookie. But I still would be surprised if we don't get into the season and it's like Blake Corum's like 20% of the snap share, 25, maybe 30% of the snaps on field, and then Kyron Williams is getting the rest. If anything, maybe you look at Blake Corum, if you like Blake Corum, you look at him and you draft him and you're like, this guy's going to win me the league through the last 8 weeks of the season because Kyron Williams is going to be good the first 8 weeks. Then he's going to eventually start to taper off, maybe due to injuries or whatever. And then Blake Corum is going to get more usage. So I think that's where you look at that if you're a Blake Corum person. So, all right, we're going to look at our team in this roster view. And then I'll grade it out of 10 like we normally do. Once again, I hope I cleared up that auto pick on Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams is a guy I absolutely hate anyways, but I definitely would have taken like Raheem Mostert over him or Rashee Rice, just so you know in your normal league. Otherwise, let's get over that. I'm over it now. Let's grade the team and go through it quickly for you guys. Jalen Hurts, QB1, easily could end up the year with QB1. I think it's kind of cool that he is in a Kellen Moore offense now. Hopefully we'll get more opportunities to open up the offense and throw the ball a little bit more, but also still will have that obvious rushing upside. Let's just talk about the stack now with Devontae Smith as our wide receiver 2. Absolutely love to leave the draft with a stack like I mentioned. Breece Hall and Derrick Henry as our first 2 picks in the draft. Very, very solid starting running back room. Very solid. Obviously, Derrick Henry not as solid in full PPR. Still love the touchdown upside. Breece Hall could easily be a league winner and finishes RB1 this year over Christian McCaffrey, in my opinion. Like I said, he's a guy I would consider picking very early in the draft over some of those star wide receivers. I've considered it. Not that I'm saying I've done it, but if he's the guy, in my opinion, if he's there after Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, assuming CeeDee Lamb's contract situation gets figured out, and Tyreek Hill, I'm picking Breece Hall like over Chase at this point almost, just because I think getting a running back early is valuable. So and then we go down to Drake London. I think he has wide receiver 1 upside this year easily. If Kirk Cousins comes in and he plays like he did in the Vikings at all, I think Drake London could be easily, like I said, he's going to be wide receiver 1, maybe not the best one in the league, but like he has top 5 wide receiver upside if he can get into the end zone a few times. I would love to have Drake London as my wide receiver 1 in the 3rd round. Right? So if you get Drake London in the 3rd round, it's a win. George Kittle as our tight end, we get him a lot in drafts. He's just like was the last of a tier. I feel safe with George Kittle, and I feel like I don't have to worry about him. I just expect him to have some high upside weeks where he goes off, and then I expect him to have some weeks where he only catches a few passes and doesn't do anything. I will take the high upside weeks and just live with the rest. That's kind of what most tight end positions come down to, and I got him as the latest high upside tight end in the latest of the guys that I like. So I'll take it later. Malik Neighbors as the flex. We talk so much about Malik Neighbors. I'm not going to talk much about him at this point. Malik Neighbors is a good pick if you can get him later. If you're getting Malik Neighbors before the 5th round, especially in 10-team leagues, I think it's too early. All right. And then we finish off with defenses. Our bench is good, even though I mispicked. Jaden Reed, Xavier Worthy, Curtis Samuels are receivers. Yeah, pretty much looking at the benches, I probably would have picked I wanted Rashee Rice over Javonte Williams. That's where I messed up. And then I am totally happy with Blake Corum, Tyler Algier, Rico Dowdle, and then instead of Xavier Worthy there, we would have had a Rashee Rice. Get like Trey Benson or something like that instead of Xavier Worthy. So that's how I would have built the team without the auto pick. I apologize for the auto pick. That's the first time I've had an auto pick in a video that I'm actually going to commit to still uploading on YouTube. So apologize for that. I hope I explain myself out of it good enough for you guys. So if you're still watching, ranking the team, I'm gonna give it. It's gonna be kind of one in that middle range again. I do a lot of my teams between an 8 and a 9. With this being a 10-team league, I truly love the starting running back. Like the whole starting lineup is sick. So I mean, it's closer to a 9 than an 8. This is. I'm gonna give it like that 8.75 grade. Like maybe not quite a 9 for me. I think if I wouldn't have messed up the bench pick with Javonte, I would have given myself a 9. So I mean, if you don't do that, then it's like a 9.5 out of 10 draft. I'm gonna give an 8.75 and kind of dock myself a little bit for the mess up, but otherwise a great draft. If you have this team in your 10-team league, I like it. I like it a lot. So that's going to be it for the mock draft and the video and the rating for this one, guys. Once again, before we're done, please continue to like and subscribe if you guys find the videos entertaining at all. We'll continue to get out more content through the rest of the mock draft season and into and throughout the fantasy and the regular season for football. And then also continue to send me those comments. I really like seeing your guys' opinions on players and opinions on how I draft. Maybe just tell me how you guys like to do it in your leagues, who some of the guys you guys are liking to target. Or if you just want me to continue to draft from your home league spots, let me know what those are. I can try to continue to get those out. Also, guys, if you're finding yourselves in your leagues deciding between a handful of players that you're wanting and you don't know which ones you want over certain other guys, tell me what those players are in the comments, and I'll get back to you and tell you which ones I like or how I would rank them, I guess. So that's another thing that hasn't been utilized yet in the comments, but I would love to see those questions being asked as well. So that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until the next one,